Playing off-meta champs that are still extremely strong is a great tactic that can really give you a monumental advantage on your opponent. If you're playing a champion the enemy has gone hundreds of games without seeing, you'll leave them cut out to dry in so many scenarios because they just won't know what to expect. Or if you're someone like me who just enjoys playing things that aren't meta, then that can work too. In today's video, we will be setting you guys up with the 10 most OP off-meta picks that are hidden gems in 11.2. Every champ we feature has below a 3% play rate, but are just as strong, if not stronger, than most meta picks. If there's an off-meta champ we don't feature in this video that you've been playing and that you think is really strong, let us know in the comments below. We may look into that pick and feature them in the next edition of this video. While you're down there, don't forget to hit that sub button. We've got so many great videos planned for this channel, so you're going to want to stay up to date. And with that being said, let's move on to breaking down our two top lane picks. If you're ready to feast on your opponents for 11.2, then start spamming Cho'Gath before it's too late. He just recently started to gain sole possession of the #1 win rate for any top laner across almost every single elo. His pick rate, though, still lies at only 2.5%. The reason for our optimism surrounding this pick is due to the indirect changes to Frostfire Gauntlet, Turbo Chem Tank, and Stoneplate in 11.2. All three of these items have been buffed, and all three of them are core items for Cho'Gath, which will turn him into even more of a monster. Mark our words, guys, a Frostfire Chemtank rush into a Thornmail second and then Stoneplate third will net you so much elo for 11.2 you won't even be able to believe it. A little tip for his skill order is to max that E out first, W second, and then Q last. Many players mistakenly max Q second on Tank Cho, but maxing W second is the way to go. The silence duration goes up by a whole second, whereas the slow and knockup duration on Cho Q does not increase by level. On top of that, the cooldown scales with level on his W, but is a flat 7 on Q, so there isn't as much value in maxing Q second. For your runes, take Grasp of the Undying and pair it up with Precision Secondary. Make sure you grab the Tenacity rune as it helps Cho'Gath a ton when he's in the front line soaking all that CC. A traditional jungle pick who's actually been seeing a greater amount of success in the top lane is Warwick. You'll have no problem spamming the pick in your games as his play rate is only 0.9%. We're super high on this pick, even more so for 11.2 for a couple of different reasons. With both Darius and Aatrox being nerfed, that indirectly makes Warwick so much stronger since those were his two most common matchups from 11.1. With Camille avoiding the nerf bat for another patch, she's going to remain a highly contested pick. Warwick is one of the few top laners that actually had a positive win rate into Camille in the previous patches. Camille relies on those quick trades early on, whereas Warwick likes extended ones. If Camille ever tries to jump in, you can negate a lot of her burst with the damage reduction from E and then turn on her with your Q or ult. Warwick's crazy sustain also makes it so that even when he does lose a trade, he can heal back up super fast by using Q on minions. Be sure to run Barrier as your second summoner spell. Warwick thrives when low on HP, gaining bonus attack speed and healing, so by taking Barrier, it allows you to continue fighting at that low HP threshold where you're at your strongest. There really isn't a best build for Warwick top, so we will give you a few to try out. Divine Sunderer into Titanic Hydra and Sterix is his most consistent performing build. Blade of the Ruined King Rush into Gore Drinker and then Sterix is another great build that gives you way more sustain. Even Stridebreaker Rush can be super strong, giving you some crazy sticking power. Experiment and see which fits your playstyle the best. For rune's sake, Grasp if you're inexperienced or in more difficult matchups, and press the attack for the opposite. Secondary runes are Precision if you're going Grasp, and Resolve if going PTA. Moving on to the jungle now, a champion that's receiving his deserved attention for top and mid, but far less so for jungle, is Pantheon. Pantheon jungle has such a strong early game and can go toe-to-toe with almost every champ he runs into. The fact his play rate sits lower than 2% is just so insane. His gank power is so much better and more reliable than most other picks, allowing you to add Pantheon to your pool and see immediate success. Nothing really beats a point-and-click stun. If you're ganking for a meta pick down in the bot lane like Maokai, Leona, or Thresh, then it makes your ability to take over the early game so easy. It gets even better once you reach level 6, as you have the semi-global impact with your ult, which allows you to instantly capitalize on the enemy laners playing too aggressive. The raw snowball potential Pantheon has, and the fact he's so simple to pull off, makes him a pick you have to try out if you haven't already. The build is an Eclipse or Gore Drinker Rush. If you're snowballing and against lots of squishies, then Eclipse is great. If behind or you just want more tankiness, then Gore Drinker is just as strong. It really comes down to preference. Second item will be a Black Cleaver if you need the Armor Shred or a Sterix otherwise. Third item can be Sterix, Death's Dance, or Guardian Angel. For your Keystone, take Conqueror, and secondary runes run Domination. A pocket pick every jungle main should have in their repertoire with just a 1% play rate is Poppy. If you're tired of losing to Graves, Lee Sin, Kayn, and Nidalee, then Poppy is your answer. Poppy's win rate in the Graves matchup is really insane right now. It's over 56% and is Graves' worst matchup win rate wise as of recent. Considering Graves has been the most picked jungler over the last few patches, you're going to get really good use out of picking Poppy into him. With the Poppy W, if you can get right on top of Graves, you limit his ability to use his gap close, which makes Graves a much weaker champion. Not only does she counter a lot of meta champs, but her damage is just completely nuts early on. If you find that stun angle and pick up your passive shield, you're going to win out in the 1v1 every single time. The best Poppy in NA, Tactician, has even swapped over to maining Poppy in the jungle for Season 11, so definitely check out his content if you want to learn more about the pick. For the build, rush Divine Sunderer into Deadman second. Third item can be Thornmail for more armor or Abyssal Mask against AP comps. Your rune page will be Dark Harvest for the Keystone and Sorcery secondary with Celerity and Water Walking. For our first hidden gem in the mid lane, we have Kled, who holds a 0.3% play rate. You can play many different traditional top lane picks in the mid lane and see great results, but Kled is just a cut above the rest. His level 3 all-in potential, along with the map presence post 6 with his ult, gives him some of the most insane snowball you'll see in any champion. He holds a positive win rate against all 5 of the most played mids in the game right now, being Yone, Zed, Yasuo, Akali, and Katarina. The Grievous Wounds from his Q allows him to do especially well against a pick like Sylas, who he wins 56% of the time against. The versatility you have in your build path also makes him a very reliable option. For a tankier setup, you can rush Sunfire Aegis into Sterix and then Stoneplate. This build will become even stronger here in 11.2 due to the Stoneplate buffs. For more of a damage-oriented setup, Gore Drinker into Ravenous Hydra and Sterix is just as strong. Grab Conqueror for your Keystone and combine it with Resolve secondary, taking Bone Plating and Demolish. Sitting at a 0.7% play rate, the second mid laner our analysts recommend you pick up is Tristana. Kraken Slayer and the Collector turn Tristana into an assassin, very similar to how Lucian mid functions right now with Gale Force and the Collector. Trist's ability to instantly proc the Kraken Slayer true damage and get a fully charged E off is insane with the Hail of Blades setup. It makes her such an amazing pick into so many mid laners since most are very squishy, giving her the ability to burst them out and snowball really hard. She's especially strong into annoying picks like Kassadin, Yone, and Katarina. The self-peel from her ultimate makes it so difficult for those champs to ever get onto her, and at the same time, she can bully them out of lane with ease early on. The full build is Kraken Slayer Rush into the Collector second and Infinity Edge third. Gale Force can even work as well, but with the nerfs in 11.2, Kraken will become more optimal. Hail of Blades is by far her best keystone. If you want to go all-out offensive, you can take Precision secondary, but for some added tankiness, Resolve with Bone Plating is great too. Sivir is an ADC who's been slowly on the rise of recent and will only get better. She saw multiple buffs throughout Season 10, followed up by another one just last patch in 11.1, and still only holds a 1.3% play rate. Indirect buffs with the Essence Reaver changes will put her in a much better spot, and she'll be trailing right in behind Kai'Sa and Jhin for 11.2. With so many engaged supports being played in the meta, Sivir really enables them with her ultimate, and make it so that you can press go whenever you see the opportunity. Her perma-shove playstyle will do wonders for your jungler and the ability for you to rotate and contest early crabs. She's one of the best ADCs in the game at enabling her team to succeed. Gale Force into Essence Reaver and Infinity Edge is Sivir's best build. With Gale Force nerfs, Kraken Slayer will become more optimal in games where you don't need the dash as much. As for runes, take Lethal Tempo and roll with Domination secondary, going Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter. A non-traditional ADC pick that is super OP in 3 different roles at the moment is Seraphine. She's so strong right now, you can even play her in the carry role where she holds an absolutely disgusting 56% win rate. We should note her play rate is very low in the role at only 0.3%, which will skew her win rate a little bit. Nevertheless, that 0.3% is still over 8,000 games worth of sample, so when you think about it like that, she's actually been played a really solid amount. Her crazy utility is what makes her so strong. She not only has the ability to keep her team mobile and provide them with shields, but her peel and pick potential is also top tier. The Seraphine Sona bot lane combo is actually no meme right now either if you're looking for a strong off-meta synergy to play. The build for carry Seraphine is much different than what you'd go for support. Rush Eluden's Echo, followed by Archangel's second, and then Zhonya's, Rabadon's, or Rylai's can all work for third items. Take Comet as your keystone with Free Boots and Biscuits as your secondaries. If you're tired of playing the same old engaged supports time and time again, then learn the ways of the Fat Man for 11.2. Support Gragas has seen quite a bit of play in the higher elos as of recent. Many pros have been spamming the pick over the past patch. His average play rate only sits at 0.7% though. Imperial Mandate has great synergy with his entire kit, giving him and his teammates amazing all-in potential. Shurelya's is also another option to really keep your eye on, as the item will now provide AP for this next patch. Shurelya's was already Gragas support's best performing rush for 11.1, so we expect big things out of it. Like Mandate, it provides some nice added burst when looking for all-ins, but what sets it apart is the active move speed, giving Gragas much stronger and more reliable engage. Zeke's Convergence second item into Zhonya's or Knight's Vow third will round things out nicely. Grab Aftershock as your keystone and run Inspiration secondary with Biscuits and Cosmic Insight. Our 10th and final OP off-meta pick for this patch will be Galio. Throughout the majority of elos, Galio is really flying under the radar and has on average a 2% play rate. Once you reach high diamond and above, his play rate spikes pretty hard. In Diamond Plus, it jumps to 5%, and then in Masters and above, it goes all the way up to 8%. The reason Galio is so underrated for the majority of elos is due to his top-notch peel power and strength into other meta supports. Alistar has been on the rise as of late, Leona has been in the meta for a while, and Maokai is played a ton too. Galio just completely nullifies their engage due to his point-and-click taunt. The magic shield Galio provides his team with his ult makes it even more impossible for someone like Maokai to take down your carry. On the flip side, he doesn't just have to be a peel bot, he can also be the aggressor. His E, followed up by Taunt, is a great engage tool and can be used to easily set up ganks and win out on early skirmishes. For the build, pros have been really popping off with a Shurelya's Rush. Deadman's Plate is an interesting rush option too, that has a really high win rate and against heavy AD comps can give you a ton of value. If you rush Shurelya's, grab a Zeke second and Knight's Vow third. For the Deadman's Rush, pick up Locket second and then the Knight's Vow. You'll want to be as tanky as possible, so take Aftershock as your keystone and run Sorcery secondary with Nimbus Cloak as the essential pickup. And that will just about wrap things up for this one. These picks are all extremely strong right now, so don't miss out on abusing them before it's too late. If you guys enjoyed this, then make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the meta and be the first one to know about all of the new trends. This is the place to be. As always, we appreciate all your support and we will catch you back here soon. Have a good one.